recent two chapters we've got for One Piece, I decided to make a discussion about this. Basically, the incredible amount of information we got in chapter 834, and the fight we got between Judge and Sanji, and the outcome of the fact that Judge, I should say, Big Mom managed to get hands on the Tenno wristbands to put on Sanji. Now the rescue mission begins. I'll end with the Sanji thing, but I'll start with the whole Big Mom, because I don't think there's okay. So there's a couple of topics that need to be addressed. Number one, I think the poneglyph that hasn't been brought up enough, but I have previously stated how Big Mom used as a plot device in this song. And if you really think about it, the way Whole Cake Island has been structured, it really has, since the moment Sanji left, it really has put things in Big Mom's favour. Yeah, she says the Vince books as well, but it's like even Judge, who's being a complete douche, Sanji, past and present, basically said even he wouldn't agree to give one of his sons over to that deranged mom, Big Mom. So, but that's the thing. Who's really going to get the antagonist of this arc? Will it be Judge or will it be Big Mom? Because I was convinced that Sanji, even though it's still his year, I was convinced that Sanji's going to be the one to take out Big Mom. Granted, he still could be, because that's another reason I'm bringing this discussion. Who do you think is going to be the one to take out Big Mom, or even fight Big Mom? I don't know if she's going to be taken out yet, or that. Because right now it kind of looks like Luffy's going to be the one to take her out, and I have no problem with that, because, by the way, somebody has to take out Big Mom because of the obviously she has the key to Sanji's cuffs, so that could be a plot device. And the way that Luffy's right now is separated from the crew, it means that two things. Number one, each of the crew member, and I hope, get the chance to fight, because we have Brook, who's traveling with Pedro, although a lot of people think he might be the one to fight Tamago, and we actually do find a thing or two about Pedro, but I'm going to start with the poneglyph because that's most interesting. Remember, Jinbe came in, he apparently had a poneglyph. Big Mom couldn't read that shit, but Pedro said when he originally came to Whole Cake Island, he came in search for a poneglyph that was already there. So I'm assuming that's the raw poneglyph, because if not, then, because he stated that he was doing it to help his, I'm guessing that his side of the Minx, or Cat Viper in this case, but yeah, and the whole thing about poneglyph, and I did mention not too long ago how Big Mom can use that as a plot device, and especially since when we saw the conversation between Big Mom and Caesar, how she actually took blueprints from the SAD factory in Punk Hazard, actually made one out of candy. The interior is made out of iron, but I find it very convenient that the lab is made out of candy from the outside. And I did say one of the things that Big Mom could have done, or in this case, could have done, for plot purposes, I think the poneglyph is going to have to come at the end, obviously, because that's going to decide whether the story goes next. Obviously, what happens after the Whole Cake Island goes into one, because we have to find another poneglyph from there. Right? But that's a whole other topic. But yeah, the way Big Mom can actually do this, and I've said this before about how she could manipulate the whole poneglyph. Well, she can't manipulate the poneglyph into cake or candy. I think that's confirmed. She does have the ability to manipulate nature and give life into objects, like some Alice in Wonderland type of stuff. But I think and I've also said that maybe it's the Charlotte family that has the ability to produce food with Big Mom, which actually makes sense, because if Big Mom could manipulate food, actually materialize food, there would be no need for Big Mom to go on these cravings, and that's what else I wanted to discuss. But all I did say that maybe Big Mom would have already turned the poneglyph into or someone in the Charlotte family, maybe even Perospero, who in fact, come to find out, was the eldest son of the Charlotte family, which I think is kind of interesting. So I'm guessing at some point we're going to possibly meet the eldest daughter. A lot of people are speculating the eldest daughter of Big Mom could be Lola. That is a possibility. I think it's kind of given now, given the fact we've seen the look-alike of Big Mom, Charlotte Shippen, who was married to Capone, by the way, so that was kind of a surprise as well. And I'll bring that whole point up as well. But ending up with the poneglyph, what do you guys think? Do you think Mom actually turned that into a sweet, or could it be the poneglyph that Jinbe brought to her? And speaking of which, where is Jinbe right now? Because we had the media completely bullshitted about the fact Jinbe ran away. He wanted to leave Big Mom's crew. He had to cough something up in exchange. He didn't like what it landed on, and he ran away, making it seem like a coward. But we all know Jinbe, number one, is a coward. Number two, he took a hit from Akainu back at Marineford, so no. And he broke by that shit. So he just go on and say, so maybe Jinbe doesn't want to join his crew. By the way, definitely going to be a new Nakama joining by the end of the arc, guaranteed. I don't know if it, and I'll get into that in a minute as well. What do you think happened to Jinbe really? Because it's obvious to me that Big Mom is manipulating the media, and this has not been the first time we've seen this because Flamingo did this shit as well. When he got the CP's cipher port to like bullshit about that he stepped down as a Shibakai, and just the Straw Hats there. So I mean that goes to show how much influence Big Mom already has. Number one, she was able to get her hands on the Tenerife wristbands. That's a mystery to me. So she must have some connections, or she must have something blackmail, like on some Doflamingo shit. And on top of that, she's obviously had the influence because how the hell did Judge? I know he's powerful, but it's like I mean he's leads the Vince Smoke family, but the German 60s state, but that doesn't necessarily mean that doesn't explain how he's able to change Sanji's battle poster to what it only like. It doesn't make a lot of sense unless Big Mom found a way to like negotiate or blackmail the government. That's where it begins to look like to me. But it's beginning more and more. Jinbe is either locked up or something has happened to him, and Jinbe can't respond. By the way, that's going to be like a turning point in the arc when we find out what happens to Jinbe. Then maybe things will go to the Straw Hat's favor, because for sure there has to be a reunion between Jinbe and Straw Hat. It would be definite. I mean, I don't know if it would be the one to join Luffy's crew. It's popular, but there's a lot of different ways. We may get more than one Nakama crew member join. I've heard how a lot of people want a female to join the crew. I kind of agree with that, honestly. And that goes back to the second part. What do you think was up with number one? I'm going to mention Pudding because I totally got misjudged because I thought she was definitely going to betray the Straw Hats. It doesn't seem like the case because the way Tamago was held putting up by saying, "Oh, you definitely need to change it. You can't go anywhere else. You need to pick out a wedding dress. Try to." And we know for a fact there's like objects like spying in on what the Straw Hats have done so far. So we know that Tamago may have something to do with that as well. And speaking of which, we noticed towards the end of that part in the chapter, Tamago goes off with I'm guessing like the soldiers or something, or the not cracker soldiers. I don't know. But he just go off somewhere saying he needs to talk about something. So what that something is, I don't know. But again, does this possibly mean Pudding might actually turn out to be? Because the way she was talking about Big Mom, how she's scared to leave the family because she knows what will happen. That's what Jinbe tried to do, even though he's not technically married into the family. He was technically working on the Big Mom in order to protect Freshman Island. But when he wanted to leave the crew in order to join the Straw Hats, that's when he had to cast something up. And we know how Big Mom treats her siblings. We've seen that with that Moscow, I think it was. Totally took his lifespan. So I wonder if the same thing happens to Jinbe, or if he's locked up somewhere. Maybe. And And I mentioned about the whole thing about Pudding. Do you think she could be the candidate for not joining the crew? Maybe. I mean, right now it's up in the air. I mean, at this point, uh, I'll shift gears. So I'll focus on the whole thing about Pekoms because I do think that's just as interesting as well. What Pekoms stated to Capone before he got shot for the second time, and what we found out about Capone in general, the fact he's not only working under Big Mom's underlings, but it's also working. He's also married into the family, much like Sanji will be. Although I'm pretty sure Straw Hats are not going to let that happen by far. Capone married into the family, but it seems to me like Capone has his own agenda for working on the Big Mom. Remember what Law said when we had the when he stated that in order to survive in the world, in the new world, you have to be under protection of Yonko, or you have to try and take the Yonko down, which is what they tried to do with Kaido. But and let's go back further to where Doflamingo speech about who will rule the season, who will betray whom. It's beginning to seem like more and more like who's walking under Yonko definitely going to be in line to like betray him, because a lot of people are thinking how X-Drake might actually betray Kaido and join the Straw Hats, ally with the Straw Hats, or there's possibly you can unite with Kid in order to face Kaido in Mono, but that's a whole other topic. But you see what I'm saying? The same could apply to Capone. I'm not saying he's going to join ally with Luffy, I think, because he's the one that took off with Sanji in the first place. You know, Luffy's going to be pissed about that. Secondly, we know, and the most important thing is what Beckham said before he got shot and landed in the war. He did land in the war, but like I said in my review, unless I see a tombstone of somebody being shot, you really can't see death for sure. And there's also possibilities that Jinbe, who's on the island, he could, if not looked up, he could play a role. We know the some pirates are there somewhere, so they could play a factor. And remember, Jinbe can actually control the fish and the sharks, so I would not be surprised if Jinbe does something to help out Pekoms. But I think that's kind of interesting as well, because that plays a huge role where the story in the whole King goes next, if Capone actually does go ahead and betray Big Mom. And we hear Pekoms say, "Oh, you underestimate Big Mom, will be your downfall." So it seems like there's going to be a coup d'etat. I actually thought there's a chance that the Prince might pull some shit, but it looks like they're gun hole with Sanji getting married, because it increases their chances of taking over the North Blue. And I'm going to jump to the Straw Hats, because that right now they're the key in this situation, no pretended. But with the whole thing about Man and Nami, we don't know what's happened with her. They could be separated. She could be manipulating the illusions of seduction was to separate each of the Straw Hats. And I said this before. It looks like that's unless Oda wraps this wants to wrap up this quick, which I don't think is possible, because he still has to give us the rest of the Sanji flashback and the wedding and the whole thing about season now. I mean, that's gonna have to be. Luffy's gonna have to find a way to take Big Mom, or in this case, Perospero, because he's pretty much ready to turn Caesar into candy if he doesn't produce the goods that Big Mom wants. And I find that's kind of interesting as well. But what do you think about what Nami is right now, where Chopper characters? Because we know Randolph is out there, because he's just Spirit Giant. By the way, totally called Luffy. It looks like Luffy did pull the spear out, because if you notice, the spear is out of his head. And by the end of the chapter, Luffy's gathering the duplicate fakes. So that could be a plot device to separate Luffy, so Nami could be the one, or maybe I hope it ends up being Nami versus Brule, but I got a funny feeling it's like a team effort to take out Madame Brule, but I still want Nami to be the one to take her out, because again, Nami has just as much of a reason to fight as anybody. Number one, she has a climate attack, so I don't think they're going to introduce that without actually find a way for Nami to use it in this arc. And I also think she could want to actually interrupt the wedding. You know how Sanji, the one who came to Nami on Thrill arc and interrupted the whole thing with Absalom? That could be a throwback, possibly. Again, these are just theories and ideas. Um, and finally, the whole thing about Sanji and Judge, the whole thing, the wristbands, and we get to see even in this chapter, Sanji finally comes to terms with the realization of, I mean, he's stuck in the situation. He can't escape. I'm pretty sure he can't fight back. Although, again, it's similar to Eni's lobby, where Robin couldn't do anything until nearly the very end. So, I mean, that's why I think I thought Sanji for sure might be the one to take on Big Mom, but it's beginning to seem like Luffy's going to be the one to take on Big Mom, or take on Big Mom, and then find a way to get the key. Or, I just thought about something. You know how Mr. 3 back in Marineford actually created a replica of the key to unlock the cutter Ace. Could it be possible that someone in the Charlotte family, or somebody who knows about that, has a duplicate key to unlock Sanji's cut? I've even stated that maybe Reggie might be the one to help the Straw Hats. I'm not too sure. There is something there, but she seems like more of an ally than a Nakama material anyway. I mean, that'd be cool if she does join, but it's like right now we just don't know enough. Oda's been tweaking with the character, but unless we get the Sanji flashback, we don't know where she's going to lie in all this. I mean, she definitely is the most interesting out the bunch, with the exception of Sanji. So, and the rest are just douches. And by the way, do you think the brothers are actually stronger than Judge, or do you think they're just as weak? I'm not saying like the weak in physical ability, but it looks like a lot of people have a problem with the way that Vince Smokes are using technology to gain the upper hand in fights, which kind of downgrades him a little bit, which kind of underwhelms Judge's way over Sanji, even though technically he did grab Sanji's Diablo Jamba. But like I said, that was a whole plot twist to leapen out the situation, because until we get the whole flashback, that's why Sanji can't take out Judge yet. Although I think that's going to be like one of the final fights in the arc. Do you think it's going to be the one to take out Big One? Do you think it's going to be a team effort on the part of Jinbe and Luffy, or do you think it's going to be going Gear 4 or Solo to take out Big Mom? Because I'll tell you something right now, it's beginning to seem more and more like the more that Oda tips the scale in the favor of Big Mom, it seems like the more he's setting it up for a big finale. Because we see in this in Dressrosa with Domingo how he manipulated most of the Dressrosa arc, but then by the end when Luffy hit Gear 4, that was the turning point, and that pretty much was spelled the end of Domingo. So do you think it's possible? I think there's definitely going to be a betrayal, but who do you think it's going to come from? I got my money on Pudding, I got my money on Radio. I don't know why, but like I said, given the fact she can manipulate chocolate, is it possible that Pudding might actually be able to? Because remember, it's similar to where Mr. 3 is able to use the wax to unlock the cut, and if Pudding knows where about the key is, could she make a replica of that key and turn chocolate so she can unlock the cut to Sanji? I think that'd be a plot twist, and it would definitely redeem. I mean, I'm not saying the character's been like total shit. She comes as nice, but the way it's been so far, it kind of looks like putting a straw hat. But this chapter, it kind of looks like, putting with good intentions, but is Tamago that held her up. So, what do you think? Do you think Brooke's going to be the one to take out Tamago? I hope so. Like I said, I hope the Straw Hats each get chances to fight. It could be a team effort on the part of Carrot and Chopper to take out Randolph, and then you got Nami taking on Madame Brulee. Hopefully, and then you got Luffy. He's definitely by the end going to take on Big Mom. I think that's a given now. Unless they can duplicate the key and actually unlock the cusp before they actually have a chance to fight Big Mom. That's the only way I can see this arc ending. But let me know what you guys think down below. A long ass discussion, but I think a a lot of interesting ideas, and these are just my ideas. If you have any of your own, please let them down in the comments below. Let's do this discussion. Like it if you did, or give it a thumbs up. I appreciate that. Comment, rate, subscribe. Always.